And today I came across an article on Quora asking a very, very relevant question to all of us in the tech world, in the software development world. And that question is, do software boot camps work? Are they a short track, fast track way to get skilled in becoming a software developer, get your dream job, and make tons of money? Or with the number of people out there actually launching courses, launching boot camps, launching online tools, is it some sort of get rich quick scam? Now, as a tech lead, as someone who actually hires people on the side, I have a in-depth experience in actually knowing what it takes to get a job in the software world. Now, that being said, I've also done a lot of teaching of not really boot camps, but actually short little mini courses in Vue.js, in PHP, or just overall software architecture. So I know both sides of the coin and I know both sides of how everything works. Now, your experience might be slightly different if you're in a different country or if you're in Silicon Valley, or I don't know how things work down there, but I'm gonna share with you my experience here in Singapore and actually in Australia where I do some of my work and how it actually pertains to you, your skill sets and actually getting a job. Now, let's back up a little bit first, right? When it comes to boot camps, if we were talking about some other kind of profession, imagine if you were on the operating table and the surgeon comes on and says, hey, I just completed a 2-week surgery boot camp. I'm ready to operate on you. I mean, would you accept such a person as a surgeon? The answer is probably no. If he was a mechanic, would you do that? If your pilot announced, well, you're flying high, I took a boot camp 2 weeks ago and I'm ready to go, would you do that? Now, this is pretty interesting. I don't really know any other profession, right, where you can go through a boot camp and be ready to go full time and hit the major stream and actually work full time in that profession. And there's a real good reason for that. Why am I saying this? First of all, I am not a proponent of the hard slog, okay? I don't think it takes you 10 years of grinding your knuckles and starting from the base. I'm not some sort of Japanese sushi chef where I think you should just go one step at a time. But there is a fair bit of actually mind muscle memory to actually do the work. Now, what am I saying is that it looks very easy. If you were watching, world-class soccer players and stuff, it looks pretty easy. You're just kicking the ball around, but it takes so long to refine all the skills around you to actually deliver performance. So 2 weeks isn't really enough to get that. So that's one point down there. It can be a refresher, but it's not enough. Is it enough to get you a job? Now, that's a good question. Now, when it comes to getting a job, right, it depends on the company you are approaching. The fact of the matter is, being the FANG or any of these very competitive companies, no matter how good you are, no matter how, you will have a lot of competition. So this part pertains to the other people who are running these courses to say that you can magically get, do some algorithms, you can get in. Now, back in the day, about 10 years plus ago, using algorithms was a really useful way to sort out candidates. As a mathematician myself, I find it very, very useful because it's very, very binary. Can you do it? Can't you do it? You also have a good chance of people actually showing you how they work. It's like asking someone to take a math test. You cannot memorize them, except if you're trying to memorize every single one of and actually prepare for these questions. But that defeats the whole purpose of hiring this candidate. You want to see whether they have the capability, they want to have the aptitude, and if you just, short circuit the system, then will not be pulling out great candidates. The other problem about this is that HR is continuously evolving. A lot of people who make these courses, right, are themselves, maybe they've been in there, not really sure how exactly they got through those interview processes. And if they could do it again, they probably would not succeed. Today, things have changed. HR is a lot smarter. The point being is that HR is out there to filter people. So a lot of it happens to be just plain old damn luck. That's what it is. The more competitive these slots are, the more difficult it is to get to. You might have to be just lucky, or you might have to solve the right questions. No one's got the magic formula on this stuff. Being prepared is has been proven to it, but workshops, boot camps, not really sure down there. If you have a basic level, you're basically given a shot to at least try for it. So that is one of the aspects. Now, switching over to whether small companies or medium-sized companies will hire you if you've got a boot camp. Again, it depends on the competition. If they put out a job, right, and they only have 4 candidates, but definitely they will consider you, they will talk to you, they will give you a shot. If it's 100 candidates, why not pick the people who've spent a little bit more time? So this is the matrix of decisions that you have to consider. Now, in terms of the skill set of it, bootcamp is better than no bootcamp. That is for sure. The reason is that it gives you a quick buffet of a platter of all the stuff that's out there. Now, I've taught in these courses. I've done the 2-day workshops. I've done them online with these guys. I've taught students on it. And I usually find that those people who are really professional software developers, they are take on these courses and they're not really adding that much to themselves. The only real benefit they really have is that, number one, they have someone who's motivated to talk to them, and number two, they can actually learn a few stuff that they probably would have taken them a much longer time in real life. They wouldn't have passed through this problem. So it's just another component that you have to add to your resume towards getting that job set. Will it make a difference in the company that you're working for? Now, I look for more than just your skill level. Outside Silicon Valley, right, one of the most important things is whether this candidate has a good fit with the organization that they're working for. You might be someone who's so talented that you would not fit this organization, or you might want to do more management, or you don't really like coding and you heard that it's a way to become a billionaire. These are things that you want to try to make sure it's the right fit. It could have nothing to do with your skill set. That being said, if someone's got a 2-week course, you could at least know that they have brushed over. So I would say for junior positions, yes, coding camps will make a difference. For middle or senior more level positions, when you're switching over, it doesn't make a whole lot because we can cut it, right? So these are things for you to consider when you're doing these camps. Now, there have been a lot of people actually running coding camps, boot camps. And I think the majority of this stuff is a business. They're trying to make some money down there. They're not really looking at the job prospect. But isn't that the whole entire educational business? Isn't that the whole purpose of it, right? To create some sort of hurdle and then give you some sort of key which you must pay to get into that and cross and open that door. That is my understanding of it. What you have to do is see, what can I do? What can I learn from these things that whether the instructors are able to offer that kind of guiding hand rather than just having to do it yourself. It's very hard in the first round to do it yourself. The second thing you want to look for, right, is where the philosophy of these courses, right? Are they being well managed towards something that's practical, or is it merely theoretical, or is it some sort of money-making scheme? I look at it as the previous universities and institutes have a philosophy that we're going to just teach you what we think we want to teach you, and whether that has any relevance to your life does not matter. I would say be careful on these things. I wouldn't invest 3 years of my life learning something that is not really in sync. You can just blend the two, a little bit more rigorous education, and then add in boot camps along the side to prop up your education. But at the end of the day, I honestly think the best place you could look for is look for a company with a solid tech lead that has the right philosophy that you want, and go in and beg him to give you a job, because that's the fastest way you can learn. Having a mentor is the best. Someone who already knows what you need, what fits you, what you can do to get better. That is the best way. And actually giving you real life work. It's very hard to simulate real life work. Like, you can think about it, you can give examples, But since software is so agile, just go out there, get stuck building a project, get stuck understanding this stuff. That is the best way, and that would help you definitely get into the big companies. If I was running the tech team of a large company, I would look for people who understand what they're getting into, have the capability, and also know, like basically design themselves to get into your company. They know what they want, they know what they expect. That is the most important. The worst thing is someone with stars in their eyes and expectations that just don't match. They are a horrible blend for your company, very disruptive for you, disruptive for themselves. It always ends up very miserable. And that's the bottom line, because the tech lead said so.